Hello everybody, this is the first video in the PHP series. In this one I will do a little introduction about the language, and I will also show you what is needed if we want to develop PHP applications. Together we will install a localhost server, PHP language itself, and a MySQL database server. I hope you are familiar with HTML and CSS, because in the end that's the only thing a browser can really display. Only HTML and CSS. Even though we do any PHP coding, in the end it will be always only HTML. Then I should talk a little bit about what a PHP application really is. An example of such an application can be, for example, this eShop. By the way, this is a sample eShop I created on my localhost, and I will try to demonstrate at least a few examples throughout the next videos. Let's take a quick tour over this sample page to help you better understand how it is different from a simple HTML page. If you click on some product, it will lead you to a product page. Here you can add a product to the cart, and it will lead you to the cart page where you can see this product together with the price. Let's go back to the home page and click on another product. We are back on the product detail page, but this time you see that the content of the page is changed, even though it's still the same template. Add this product to the cart, and also the cart detail page is changed. Now we have two products in the cart, and the total price is changed as well. Another example of dynamic content is here on the home page. You can see that we have a lot of products on this page. But let's see what happens when you click on the main category. You see only 7 products now, even though it's the same template. The same happens when you click on the women category. Again, the layout on the page is the same, but different products are shown. You cannot achieve something like this with HTML and CSS only. Okay, I think it was enough of talking for the beginning. Now we will continue with installing the environment that we will use for developing. Why do we need it? If you remember, you can actually run any HTML file if you double click on it, and it will open up in the browser. With PHP this is different, and when you double click on a PHP file, it will not do anything. Actually, it will usually open in an editor, and you will only see the source code. A while ago I mentioned that if you want to develop PHP applications, you will need a server, a database, and a PHP language itself. You can install all these components separately, but if you are an unexperienced developer or you want to save some time, there are packages that have all these components bundled together, and one of them is called XAMPP. You can download this software at www.apachefriends.org. Here you can find a version for Windows, for Linux, or for OS X. So for your operation system, you need to choose the right package. On this place, I should mention that on the home page there are the latest versions of the XAMPP software. Also be careful if you are an OS X user, because this version right here is a virtual machine version. If you don't know what a virtual machine is, or you want to download some other version that is on the home page, you can go here on the top menu and click on Download section. Here you can find some older versions, and for example for the OS X without the virtual machine, you can download this latest version 7.2.0. As you can see, there are many versions of PHP language. It's because the language is under constant development and new functions are added with new version. I suggest that you always download the latest version, but for our purposes any version is good because I want to focus on the language concepts. If we run across any concept that is version specific, I will always warn you. Okay, we can move on to the actual installation. You can click here on the download button and it will download the executable file on your computer. I've already done it, so I will find the file on my computer and execute it. The actual installation will depend on your operation system. I have OS X system, but Windows and Linux should be very similar. Let's double click on the file. Here we click on the open. We need to type in our administration password and wait until we actually see something. Most of the time it's only basic installation process, so we basically need to click on the next button. Here we'll select the components that we will want. At this time we want both of them. This path right here is important as it will contain our files and later our PHP project, so we need to remember it. Then we'll just click on the next button. Here we can uncheck this checkbox. It's some installers that can install Drupal, Joomla and WordPress, which are PHP frameworks that we actually don't need at the moment. So we'll click on the next button, next again, and the installation process will start. It will take a while, so I will cut the video here and come back once this example is installed on my computer. Okay, we are back. This is the last step of the installation process, and if you click on the finish button, you will launch the XAMPP application and you will be also presented with this page. Congratulations, you've just installed XAMPP package which consists of Apache, MariaDB, PHP and Perl. This is the XAMPP control panel, where here in this tab Manage Servers you can manage all the components. Right now you see that Apache Web Server is already running. That's the minimum component that needs to be running if you want to execute PHP file. Later, if we have a more complex website that needs database access, we need to highlight this first row and click on the Start button, and the database server will start in a few moments. So the XAMPP is running at the moment, but when you restart your computer, you will probably need to run it again. You might wonder where on your computer you can find it. On Windows and Linux distributions, you will probably find it in the Start menu, and if you use OS X system, you will need to go to Applications and find XAMPP and click on Manager OS X. I will click on the Cancel button as my XAMPP is already running. Okay, I think it's time to write our first PHP script. It will be a simple Hello World example again. First, we'll open some IDE like NetBeans that I will be using throughout the course. If you don't have NetBeans and want to download it, you can go to www.netbeans.org. Here on the home page, you can click on the download button and you need to find the right version to download. For our purposes, we will use the PHP version. Okay, let's create a new PHP project. It will be under PHP category and it will be a new PHP application. Here we'll choose a name for our project. I will name it PHP Intro. And this line is important because it's the path where our files will be located. It's under Applications, XAMPP, htdocs and PHP Intro. You can choose the PHP version, but it's used only for hints for NetBeans autocomplete feature. and it has nothing to do with the actual PHP version which is installed on your computer. NetBeans also creates some metadata during the development, and I suggest that for this metadata you use a separate directory which you can locate when you click on the Browse button. Then we'll click on the Finish button and a new PHP project is created. As you can see, NetBeans has created index.php file for us. Does this look familiar to you? I hope yes, because here you can find only HTML elements with a place to write our PHP commands. Anything you write between these two tags will be processed by a PHP interpreter, and if there is some output, it will be rendered by a browser. So if we want to add some PHP commands, we need to write an opening and a closing tag just like in HTML. For opening tag, we use this construct, which is less than, a question mark, and PHP. A closing tag is a question mark and greater than. Anything that you write between these two tags will be processed by a PHP interpreter. The first PHP command that we'll write will be a simple hello world message. We'll do it if we write echo command followed by quotes, and between these quotes we'll write our message, so hello world. Each command in PHP has to be finished by a semicolon. Then we can save the file, and if you move your cursor above the file name, you will see the location where this file is saved. Now I will show you why we cannot just execute the file. So let's go to this location, Applications, Example, htdocs, PHP intro, and click on the index.php file. As you see, the source code is opened in an editor, and this is not what we wanted. So we need to do something different. Let's go to a browser and write http://localhost, and this URL is very important because localhost points to our htdocs directory, which is right under example folder. If we add php-intro, we will see our hello world message. It works as follows. If we write path like this without the actual PHP file, the server will search the actual directory, which is php-intro at this time, and it will search for a file named index.php. If this file is present, it will be rendered by a browser. We can make a little test and write index.php, and you see it's the same content. Alright, I think it was enough for the first lesson. You know how to install a localhost server, you know how to write your first PHP script, and now we are ready to start learning the language concepts.